so good, it's Australia's biggest selling cereal.
How about a trip to Melbourne courtesy of Ansett with 2 nights accommodation at Flag Inns Limited?
Starring British pop sensation Harry Zars and your very own John Jeffries in this adaptation of the best-selling.
Hi, I'm Ian Plant, filmmaker, documentarian. It's the story every Australian knows. But whatever happened to Aussie icon John Jeffries? I sat down with those closest to John to help give us some insight on the matter. From gracing our television sets every week to appearing on the silver screen across the country, there was no denying John's influence on Australian media, a force to be reckoned with. Whatever happened to John Jeffries? Geelong, 1974. Maverick filmmaker and dear friend of mine, Dick Cannon, was blazing a trail in the adult film scene.
Man, you need to leave! There's a fire!
He finds himself itching for something more. Something to shake the very foundations of Australian pop culture. A series that would revolutionise modern television for years to come. First, Dick needed his leading man. Enter John Jeffries, a humble milkman to whom I had the pleasure of meeting. He is offered a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. An opportunity that would change his life forever. Wednesday, May 7th, 6 p.m, Channel 9. Australia was about to lay witness to a turning point in the nation's entertainment industry. This is what they saw. The groundbreaking series told the story of Bucky BLAZER Buchanan, super police, trained in the arts of blazitsu.
How's the burn?
Alongside him, Rob Lincoln, a destructive force of nature.
Do you want to come out here alive or not, huh?
This Moira's not giving us anything. Well, I mean, you did him in the head with a brick, but...
The two are tasked with defeating the perilously evil Leroy the Womp.
That's his toes dipped in almost every racket this side of the state. Waste disposal, art dealing, drug dealing, gambling, extortion, arms, blackmailing, construction, and protection. And with all of that in the palm of his hands, it makes him a pretty goddamn legitimate businessman.
Whether it be a thrilling shootout, run-ins with deadly assassins.
Do you have any idea how fast you're going, mate?
Audiences left in awe episode after episode.
Look what the dog dragged in, eh? What do you mean, cat? He knows what he meant. Blazer.
The series offered more than just edge-of-your-seat action, with Dick wanting to focus on more character-driven plot lines.
Hey, son.
You're back.
Nah, I'm Dad. Gotta tell you something very important. Go. I can handle them. No, I'm not gonna leave you. I've got a plan.
Any last words?
Yeah, get whistling.
On the surface, appearing to be a flawless success, it wasn't all smooth sailing. John's co-star and right-hand man, Robbie Jones, would find that his dark past would come back to haunt him. Robbie and myself were part of the 7th Battalion's second tour in Vietnam. An experience which would haunt him for years to come.
Yeah, mentally, I only just scraped through. Brings back memories when I think of my dog, Boris. He was a trooper. Poor bastard stepped on a landmine. Boris! Boris! Lost 3 of his limbs.
He was on the field with me.
I know, mate, I know.
Saw him explode right before my very own 2 eyes.
A lot of the scenes were a little challenging, I guess you could say.
The crew would find it particularly difficult getting through these challenging scenes.
You gonna be right? Yeah?
Robbie constantly bringing production to a halt on account of his disruptive outbursts.
Bucky! Where is he? You ran straight into my trap, Blazer! Time to return the favour! I wouldn't! That's it! Wouldn't want you to spoil the show! Let him go! If that's what you want, say goodbye! Say goodbye!
Yep, thank you, nothing's very good.
Boris! Oh, no, not again! Boris!
Why didn't anyone tell me? Why didn't tell me?
He killed my dog! He stomped him!
What you see now is one of these episodes. An episode I was lucky to come out unscathed.
Boris! Fuck off! Hey!
Despite these unfortunate setbacks, the crew banded together and persevered.
I wouldn't have got through without John. Nah, not at all.
The series wrapped in just under a year. In that time, friendships were bonded. Love was found. And memories were made.
Blow up the house of Minister family. What the bloody hell were you thinking?
The series was coming to a close,
Your badges. Now.
just like the characters' careers in the police force.
You're just too hot-headed. Although, guess not as hot as that family you burnt to death.
Come on, mate. You can't be here all day.
Rob, we blew up a whole residential house.
The finale rolled out in the summer of '75.
Brought all the toxic waste from my factory into the Barwon River. It's only a matter of time before it reaches the city's water supply.
And now that the Australian public had a taste of the BLAZER story, they hungered for more. But if you knew Dick like I, you weren't going to get the same thing.
So, John, BLAZER feature film. Is it happening?
It's going to be big, I think. I mean, a lot of effort we've been putting into it. It's going to be a big deal.
The feature film adaptation of the acclaimed series saw the return of Jeffries and Jones, now as rogue vigilantes. And now with a bigger budget behind them, Dick was able to push the boundaries of what was previously possible.
You got me, but you still lose.
You don't deserve this.
Audiences were given the conclusion they longed for, tying up loose ends to the BLAZER story.
Fuck me, BLAZER.
Just like the series, the feature film adaptation was a raving success. Australia lined up for their seat to see BLAZER on the silver screen. And with fame comes opportunity. John received a role on another Aussie up-and-comers film, Summer Nights, Nicer Views. It was on this film that John met the love of his life. Enter Grace Goodwin.
Yeah, when meeting him, I was terrified. I'm meeting the BLAZER. But when we started choreographing, I realised he wasn't Bucky Buchanan, action hero. He was John.
Despite his first foray into a more dramatic role, it was received poorly by the general public. A blow at the time that was overshadowed by a wedding that captured the heart of the nation.
We were both swept up in this whole fairy tale. Young and in love.
Not long after, the two outgrew the small confines of Geelong and sought opportunity elsewhere.
He wanted to move to Sydney, so that's what we did.
I'm finding plenty of work, so it's a win-win, I think, yeah. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
So someone had to stay home.
Not long after, Grace gave birth to a healthy, bouncing baby boy, little Bucky. Meanwhile, John landed the lead role on a gritty noir picture.
If I back out now, I could end up with a commendation or a one-way ticket to Clown Town.
It was also received poorly. Back in Geelong, word was circulating that Dick was working on a new television series.
It's inspiring my next TV series, but I won't talk about that. It's a little hush-hush there.
A female-led spin-off that featured returning characters from BLAZER. A show that ultimately never saw the light of day. As John was working hard fostering a solo career, Dick was succumbing to an unforgiving illness. Entangled in a whirlwind of sex, drugs and parties, and an on and off fling with a famous celebrity.
Good old Fleetwood Mac by Fleetwood Mac. Yeah, I was at the album launch actually. Me and Stevie were good friends for a while there.
Dick's fate was inevitable.
Yeah, we heard the news. John called me, and yeah, I don't think he took it very well.
I think John felt as if he betrayed Dick. He was never the same after that.
Dick filled a hole in Australian cinema, and after a premature departure, that hole was left to be filled. But who could possibly fill this hole other than Dick? Perhaps the biggest hole of all was in John's heart.
Jeez. where do I start with Dick? He's just unreal. When I was a milkman, he always was there for me. He, you know, every time I dropped off his milk, he greeted me at the door. He always was up for a chat.
He was constantly reminded of his friend's departure by media bombardment,
Why are we talking about this? Like,
perhaps instilling a deep guilt within.
Subsequently, John's leading man status began to dwindle, being forced into minor roles.
Say that again, Schnork.
I didn't sign up for this! Joey!
Now, the general store is just over yonder, so I say we hunker down here for...
His career in shambles.
John and Grace's marriage began to waver.
no, Grace is just, you know, doing her own thing. She's, you know, with the baby and all. It's, yeah.
Grace and little Bucky moved back south to Geelong.
In the end, I gave him an ultimatum: his career or his family. He made the decision he did.
John, now alone in Sydney, left to reap what he sowed. And with his health declining,
should be fine,
and the onslaught of media attention,
it's fine.
I mean, John has a wife. Does he have no dignity?
John Jeffries is in a stable condition after crashing iconic BLAZER Corvette.
Who's ours? Harry's ours. What was it like working with Mr. Jeffries?
Oh, always late to set. Bit of an asshole. I think he was cheating on his wife.
things only began to worsen when rumours circulated over a new BLAZER film under production.
I got the call from George Miller. The way he pitched it, it sounded pretty fresh.
A production which would not include the original series star. A decision which ultimately backfired once John caught wind.
For the millionth time, I want my coffee black. No! Not what?
No! What's going on? That's my jacket! No! Get the fuck on me! I don't give a fuck! I don't give a fuck!
The film was ultimately canned, and Robbie Jones never went into acting again.
You know, I realised in that moment, I may have made the wrong call there.
As for John's fate, he had left the public eye.
He abandoned his friends, his family. I'll never understand it.
Almost a decade later, the Australian public have forgotten the name, John Jeffries.
A major wildfire has swept regional Victoria today, with first responders unable to control the blaze as it tears through small town communities.
No man could stop this fire. Absolutely impossible.
John's story, whose humble beginnings was to serve his community, ended just how it began. Years after his disappearance from the public eye, Jeffries decided to return to his roots.
Among those dead is rumoured to be television heavyweight John Jeffries.
It was most certainly him, no doubt about it. He surrounded the house, went right up there, was trying to save my dog, but didn't make it out alive.
The man who once graced your television sets was now, by all accounts, truly a hero. The tragic wildfire earlier this year not only claimed the lives of many Australians in regional communities, but the life of an Australian icon. In an effort to save lives, he had lost his own.
John, if you can hear this, just want to let you know, we're all here thinking of you. We all miss you, mate.
Blazer wasn't who I fell in love with. It was always John.
John Jeffries, one last time, went out in a blaze of glory.
Beautiful. Brings a tear to my eye. Lose them? For now, but they won't stop looking. Let them look. I can keep running. Where are you gonna go? Somewhere. But wherever I go, I'll always be here. Too long doesn't need a hero. Needs a new chapter.
Jeffries was my best friend. He was my best friend. John Jeffries was my best friend. Him and I were very best friends. We worked on a film together. The critics didn't like it that much, but what do they know? He was my best friend. We spent a lot of time together.
Grace Goodwin, widow of the late Australian icon John Jeffries, has just launched the Jeffries Foundation for Orphans, a charitable organisation dedicated to supporting children.
Historic announcement: Flinders Street Station has been renamed to Jeffries Station in honour of the late celebrity.
The iconic Aussie actor will adorn the new $50 bill as the Mint prepares to reissue currency.
Let's go down to the Kennedy Space Center where the aptly named BLAZER shuttle prepares for liftoff.
He would tell me that he was better friends with me than other people. John Jeffries and I were best friends.
Welcome back to Good Morning Australia, live from Kirribilli House, where the Australian of the Year has just been announced posthumously to John Jeffries.
Pleasure to welcome Australian John Jeffries to the Walk of Fame.
The Board of Governors of the Academy presents the Irving Thalberg Award to a man who does full honor to the list of those who have received it before him. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John Jeffries.
John Jeffries will forever remain a big part of our history.
He was an Australian icon, a really good guy, but mainly to me.
By inviting me to speak today to the Congress of the United States, you honour not only the Prime Minister of Australia, but recognise the influence our very own John Jeffries has had on your culture.
Goodbye, John.